not say that she will continue to be a farmer, because there is no respect for the farmers. So these are all the factors which we have to take into consideration. I have just spoken about one sector which is very, 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 very important from my point of view, and that is why I stressed on this. Now, in order to strengthen the agriculture field, we need, it's not enough that we have policy makers who make all these policy, but we also need people who execute it. Okay, so we need people who have a broader vision and who have a broader understanding. So that is why we strongly feel that at the local governance level, at the panchayat level, women have to have more power. Because women, as in today's society, women have the responsibility to provide food to the family. So women should have more responsibility at the panchayat level, more political power to ensure that the natural resources, be it land, water, forest, sea, will be protected. And that will be protected for our future generation. If you lose all these things, there is nothing for our future generation. We will be living a total desert for them. Definitely the future generation will question us. We may not be there alive, but still the future generation will talk about the 20th and 21st century people who has really ruined the world. So what is our contribution from our side? How are we going to protect this? So there is a need to change the Panchayat Raj Act. The Panchayat Raj Act is there, which ensures about 30% reservation in certain states. In certain states, they have changed it to 50% reservation following the central government thing. But even this 50% reservation, what they are giving to women, whether the women really have that power is a very big question mark. The reason why women don't have power is what we are seeing in the society. Suddenly you can't ask the women to take the political power and ensure that they function normally and all that. For about 50-60 years they didn't have any power, they were only cooking at home. You pass a bill, 33% reservation, and you expect women to perform well. It's very difficult. Even for people who have been in power, men who have been in power for 50-60 years, they are making blunders. So for women it is not very easy. It's not natural to take over power and to carry it out perfectly. We did a study on these women panchayat leaders, and we found that only 1/3 of women who are elected are able to perform their responsibilities well. So there is a wide gap of wisdom, but still we feel that 10-15 years is too little. Maybe in another 20-25 years things might change, people will gain, and your generation and the next generation will have much more knowledge, and they would be able to do their work well. But the point I am making here is the panchayat power is very, very important. So there has to be changes, policy changes, to make sure that the panchayat has enough power and also budget. The panchayat is hardly getting 10-15% of the money. Of course, if you compare Kerala, it is very less. Kerala, they are getting 75%, that's different. But here they are only getting 10-15%, and with that budget it's only the roads and things like that. They are not doing anything. They don't make a policy decision. They don't contribute to the policy decision because they don't have time for all those things. They are only contractors. The panchayat presidents are only contractors, as it stands today. So, if you are having a vision of a future India where all the men and women in the society are going to enjoy a sort of a equality and equity, then things have to work out in a different way. So that is what we have to take into consideration as far as the panchayat is concerned. There has to be more money and more responsibilities, and also more input given to these leaders who are on the make also. That is the future, which means the children who are in school have to be trained. Trained in the sense there has to be input from that angle also. See, I will come to the education system last because I feel all that I am talking now has to be included in the education syllabus. Unless all these things are included, our future generation is not going to be strengthened, who is not going to be taking the responsibility of our society. So this is something which we have to really take into consideration. And the entire natural resources and the land and everything which is coming within the limit of the panchayat should be completely under the control of the panchayat. So the panchayat has to give, if suppose new industry is coming up, even if it is, the panchayat should pass resolution and things like that. For example, now Kudangalam. In Kudangalam, there are 23 panchayats which are involved, and majority of the panchayats have passed resolution against Kudangalam. But it is just overlooked because it is not taken into consideration at all. That is the law of the state. Because the central government has agreed and the Kudangalam thing is going on. So like that, what I feel is if the local people are not ready for it, if the local people do not need it, then it is a responsibility. That's why I said the panchayat should have the power. The panchayats also are people's representative. They cannot be overlooked by the assembly. The assembly is also people's representative. They cannot be overlooked by the central parliament. So the people's representatives have to be true people's representatives and take up activities which are related to the local community. For another thing which I want to bring in here is about the new laws which are coming up. There are so many laws which are coming up. For example, the latest one is the sexual harassment bill which is pending, which is not yet passed. Just before that, we had Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, which came into picture in 2007, and still it is limping because the respective state governments have not allotted enough money in the budget for execution of that. Because if the law has to be executed, of course, the law is very beautiful on paper. Because the lawyers collective, women's group, women lawyers collective, all have contributed for drafting of the law. So it has got all the words you want. Any activist will feel very proud about that law because it has got all the words and everything is perfectly fitted in there. But when it comes to execution, you need an array of officers. First of all, who understand the law and understand the politics that is there, the gender politics that is going on, and then take action based on that, which is not there. So and all the officials are not trained in that particular, even today. Just 2 weeks back, I rang up to the district police officer in Vellore, Mr. Andu, and he was telling me, ma'am, if you are going to give a complaint on that particular thing, take a Xerox copy because our fellows do not know the law. So he's telling, take a Xerox copy of the act and then write a complaint and attach it to the act and then submit it. So maybe as an activist I can do it. As an ordinary citizen, will they be able to do it? So that is the thing which the government has to do. Why I am saying is, on one side, see for HIV/AIDS, even if you go to a remote area and ask anyone about HIV/AIDS, people know. People are aware of it. You are pumping so much of money and so much of advertisement, whether all the leading personalities are talking about it, whether it's cinema actors or players or whoever it is, everybody is talking about it, so the society is made aware of it. The same way, there is a great need to talk about the gender equity and equality in this society, which is not taken care of. All these laws have to be there because there is no gender equity and gender equality in this society. It is not because of us who are there right now. It is because of the existing gender division of labor that is already there in the society, where men are asked to be men and women are asked to be women. We are what we are because this is what the society is expecting us to do. Men are what they are because that is what the society is expecting them to do. So the society has constructed roles and responsibilities for men and women. So we have to break away from that. if you have to break away, there are so many factors which are attached to it and which are contributing to it. All the institutions, if you take in our society, the institution of education, institution of health, politics, justice, law, you name it, all the institutions are contributing to the gender inequality in our society. So if it has to change, all the institutions has to change. If all the institutions has to change, there has to be some policy decisions to make the changes at the institution level. I am not claiming that the policy institution will, policy change will automatically bring in change in the society. It will not, but it will definitely contribute. It will definitely contribute. Why I am saying, okay, I'll just give again one example. Like today, if you look around, the youngsters don't feel shy or ashamed to have a drink on the road. You find youngsters holding on to beer bottle and drinking on the road because they don't feel ashamed or they feel proud. They feel it is a status symbol because it's already there in the society. Government is selling it. It is available on all the roads. Government is making money out of it. So it is it's an agreed thing, and there is no law or thing against that. So, and it is also, the societal norms also doesn't actually bother about that. So because of that, the youngsters don't feel. Today we did a research among 10th standard students, and we found that 50% of the 10th standard students are regular drinkers. Okay, so that is the situation. I don't know where we are actually leading to. The reason why I am giving this example and trying to link it to the other is, this is something which is society has accepted. And so things are moving on like that. 30 years back when we were students, I cannot even imagine one of my colleagues standing on the road and having a beer bottle and drinking it. It was not accepted. But today it is accepted. All type parties, all party without beer, there is no party. So the meaning of the party itself is having beer or other drinks also. So it is taken for granted in this society. It is accepted in this society. The same way, gender inequality and gender discrimination is taken for granted in this society and accepted in this society. Because there is no law, there is no policy, overall policy as a. Suppose we have a prohibition. Then you won't, definitely there will be illicit.